welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Hey, I'll tell you something fun today. NASA just said that we all need to live like bachelor men, and it will save the planet. I wish I could kid about that one, but no. A NASA climatologist. Let me try this again. See if I can speak English. A NASA climatologist said that if men or everyone were to live like bachelor men, the climate problem would be gone. Now, what's that you say? Is this truly possible? Yes, and we're going to watch the video. Let me pull this up for us here real quick. This is from a YouTube video here on Just for Laughs, interestingly enough. I will leave a link to this below if you want to watch all of it unedited. As always, whenever we critique something, we have to chop it up, so I have to keep interrupting it, or it'll get me a hit. So I'll blab and jump in here, but just enjoy this. But what I want you, there's going to be a takeaway from this, and I want you to see what it is about the men that they're talking to on their boats. Check this out.
Single life.
Over the next few decades, rising sea levels will cause a crisis of mass displacement along coastlines worldwide.
All right, so this is a NASA climatologist, right? Now, the two guys that they picked, I would probably say are pretty atypical of guys that would be bachelors living on a boat. But I'll let it play and I'll let you hear these guys. But they're awesome. They're so funny.
Small subgroup of coastal dwelling individuals that are immune to the effects of rising sea levels.
What subgroup is that?
Surprisingly enough, bachelors, divorced men living on boats.
Hey!
Now, the true definition of a bachelor is a man that's never been married, but, you know, as same thing here. I've been married, but I call this, channel Better Bachelor. There's a little segment here I had to clip out of it, and where they said basically that scientists have all agreed that in the next 10, 20, 30 years, whatever, that the climate's going to do this. And no, not all scientists are agreed on that. This is something that's been old as time, where, we can get into the climate debate, but they've been proselytizing about this since, 1960s, 1970s. They said by now that the world would have ended, and we would have starved, and we would have roasted, or we would have frozen to death. They've always had a different claim. So, but that's not the point of this video. The point is to let NASA tell us how bachelors are saving the planet.
Hey, what are you guys shooting?
Oh, we're just shooting some footage of the...
You guys like margaritas? Come on, man. Everybody loves Rita. You guys looking for a movie star? Get on up here. Don't mind the mess.
As the coast...
So you can see, number one, he's happy. He's a jolly guy. He's super friendly. He's outgoing. He's kind of joking here with the cameraman or the producer, or maybe even her. I'm not sure. Now, of course, they have to put a little dig in there at the end of this, but I don't think it's a dig. I think it's a compliment, but let's watch.
Coastline gets slowly swallowed up by rising waters. Many people will lose their homes. Roads will become unusable. But bachelors will not be affected by this crisis because they're on boats.
And boats
float.
Oh.
That had to be explained. Rising water, the only guys that are going to, do well are men on boats. Why? Because they float. Now, both of these guys here strike me as the dad personality, the type of guys that tell dad jokes. But they're living the good life. They don't seem to have too many worries in their world. And I think that's pretty apparent. So after they talk, you'll say, they're kind of nerdy, but they're nerdy, happy guys.
Mariners, man.
Rising sea levels will be absolutely devastating, unless you're a bachelor who has a boat.
You want a beer? I'm fine. I'm just going to drink it if you don't. Who else here?
You like the life?
Yeah, I like the life. I wouldn't trade this. I'm on a boat,
So, again, a little nerdy, but they're happy. They're so happy. And they actually do get into their relationship woes here in just a minute. So I'll let it cover that.
I'm getting so much better at skills,
You're not working.
No, he says, I'm getting so much better at skills. His skills currently are drinking margaritas and playing solitaire. But obviously this isn't reflective of whatever his hobbies really are. But the point is, he's happy. And yes, he's alone. And so, in many ways, they may try to point it out that as if this is a bad life in some way. But look at how these guys actually are. They're exceptionally happy.
What can we do to combat climate change?
We have to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, which coincidentally, these bachelors use very little of.
So do you ever take the boat out? Take the boat out? Come on, man. What do you think? I made of money? Come on.
And generally, we need to live simpler lives, less consumption,
It's like a mile a gallon.
less product waste,
Do the math, you know? It's a lot of money. You want a beer?
smaller.
Again, they're super friendly. They're super funny. There's a good point. Yes, the fuel is very expensive. They're not just trolling around for no reason. They're not going out and fishing, or if they fish, they're off their boat there. They're saving money. So you take a slip like this. I don't know what city this is in. Slips can range, I don't know, maybe on the low end in a smaller town. You might be able to get a slip for a couple $100 a month. You go to something, this looks like a pretty large marina in a pretty populous city. Maybe a slip costs you $1,000 a month. But here's the thing. The utilities that they pay for are usually included because what do you have? Your bathroom is self-contained, and you usually have to go and dump that. The electricity you'd use, but what is it, 10 cents a kilowatt hour? You can't use that much on a boat. There's just not that many lights. There's not that many electronics on a boat. They're not going anywhere burning fuel. But again, they're living cheaply. They're living on the water. And then if they wanted to go into town on a date or go get a bite to eat or watch a movie, you just walk down the pier, hop in a car, hop on a motorcycle, whatever, and go off, do your thing.
Cars, smaller homes,
I mean, I used to have a big house, wife, the whole thing.
which is pretty easy for these bachelors to do because they are in the process of losing everything.
Now, right here, there's a point, if you watch very careful in the editing, he does this because he starts talking about his ex-wife and he does the 1,000-yard stare. But I noticed at a certain point when he's holding still, he's leaning forward and then he's leaning back. They extended the cut of this. So his 1,000-yard stare isn't as long as they're portraying it to be. However, it is still long.
This all became too much.
I can hear where they audio edited. You guys won't hear that because I'll turn that blender noise way down because it's annoying. But you can see where they edit it, and yeah, they made the 1,000-yard stare a little longer. But I'm okay with them doing that because it just shows him, and he's like, "Yeah, I was married, man. It was just too much." And then the 1,000-yard stare off into forever. Yeah, a lot of us that have been through relationships have gone through that.
It may sound silly to say, but we should really be holding these men up as role models.
Now, she says hold them up as role models. Then they cut to this guy who's been drinking. This is late in the afternoon because you can see the sun's pretty low. He's been drinking margaritas all day, so he may not be necessarily making the best decisions in life right now. But talk about IDGAF, right? I don't give an F. He's just standing off the edge of his bow peeing into the water here. Because she says, let's hold them up as role models, and then this is what they cut to. I'm okay with that.
If more people lived simply like these bachelors do, the environment would be in much better.
Tina, just made a fresh batch of margaritas.
No thanks, Chip.
Tina, what are you doing?
Chip, I'm working.
Now, again, they may have edited this together. It may have also been when he first greeted them. I didn't look at the sun angles and everything, but when he first greeted them, he may have been saying this stuff, and now they're editing this in at the end like this is now. It's hard to tell, but I know that when they put together stuff like this, they can do some very creative editing. So I'm sure that they made this look worse than they did. But if they didn't, still, who cares?
I have a job.
I can put a tombstone in.
I'm good, thank you.
It's a brand of frozen pizza.
He seems to have a limit in his comprehension
Tina!
of anything beyond the boat.
Meet Rita.
Chip, I'm fine. Thank you.
Tina.
See, and again, again, they could have had her yell that off into nowhere when he was long gone. But the point is, even if this is legit and this was his response, I'm okay with that. It shows a guy that's been living on his boat, floating on the water all day, enjoying the sunshine, maybe sipping on, well, maybe fishing, sipping on some cold margaritas, just relaxing. He doesn't have anybody telling him clean up the place or do this or let's do this or we got to do. He's living his best life. And so many times, when we talk about, oh, bachelor, you're going to be alone and you're going to die alone and oh, it's going to be so, nah, I don't know. I have to disagree with that. Here's a couple guys. Both of these guys look like they're maybe, the one guy that was with his sunglasses, I left my fan on and it's blowing air into my eyes. Either that or I'm so happy for these gentlemen, I'm crying. I can't tell which it is. These fellas right here are the one guy with the nerdy guy with a white shirt. He looked to be, I don't know, maybe even late 30s, early 40s. The other gentleman looks a little bit older than that. But either way, they're happy. And something you can say, it's just maybe they're really not. Well, maybe no one really is. I've seen so many circumstances where somebody will post their life is amazing on Facebook or social media, and I know the truth to be completely opposite. What's really happy? But you get to see these guys doing what they want, how they want it. They have, these two are friends. Who knows how many other friends they have? Maybe they get together on one of these boats and have a hangout, or maybe they all go to the grill or watch sports at a sports bar or shoot pool. Who knows? The point is, you don't have to be alone. You don't have to be unhappy. You don't have to be single, like, as in alone. You don't have to be alone to enjoy your lifestyle. So guys, I hope this gives you a little bit of hope. I hope it gives you a little bit. Now, no, you may not be able to afford a boat right now, but because I know I can't. But there's also the same thing that occurs in RV parks. And here I've purchased a $6,000 15-year-old school bus, and I'm converting it into an RV. And I can go hang out with the people that have luxury RVs for $100,000. And I'll tell you what, this bus will probably get more interest than theirs will, because it's made by me and it's unique, So my whole point is, guys, there's plenty of good news for you down the road. Don't be afraid to commit to the bachelor lifestyle. Don't be afraid to get called out and made fun of by people. Because in the end, the truth is you really can be happy. And it's not just me telling you. It's these guys on this video, and even NASA says, hey, they're saving the planet. Maybe we all should be a little bit more like them. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, links are below. As always, thank you for those of you that have donated directly. That really does help my channel. For the rest of you, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And the other thing, some of you have mentioned, hey, will you do a video on, some of you have emailed me and said, hey, will you do a video on this or this or this? I've got like 160 videos out there. I have done a lot of those topics you guys are asking for me to do, and I don't want to do another one because the last ones I did were just a month or two ago, and there's really no new news on it yet. So go to my main channel page and flip through some of those old videos. Don't look at the thumbs, look at the descriptions, or look at both. They should be able to tell you what the video is about. Guys, I'll leave it there. This is Better Bachelor. I'm Joker, and remember, just because you're single doesn't mean you're going to be sad.